Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my very detailed report on this new moon in Aries, which will be April 17th, 2026 at 7:52 Eastern Time, 7:52 a.m. Eastern Time, so you can adjust that for wherever you are. Of course, we feel this moon energy days before and days afterwards, not just at the moment that it happens. I call the new moon in Aries the kickoff party for the astrological new year. The astrological new year started around March 21st, depending on your time zone, when the sun got into Aries. And then when the moon comes and sort of reiterates, hey, yeah, it's Aries time, this is like the kickoff party for the astrological new year, starting a whole new cycle. Of course, we've got a massive amount of energy in Aries in the sky. Everybody's getting a little rowdy from this, and you will be feeling that for better or worse. So it's a pretty intense time, but there are so many exciting things that you can use for your personal and self-development, which is my area of focus with astrology. This report is going to be very, very detailed and include timestamp sections for each sign. I'm going to give a little overview that's true for everybody that will lay the foundation of this new moon, help you understand the aspects, so the different flavors that are going to feed into not just the days around this new moon, but also feed into the next 13 moon cycle. As we're laying a blueprint here, that's going to have a rhythmic evolution. For YouTube friends, the timestamps are in a pinned post underneath the video, so super easy for you to find, also in the notes underneath the video. Podcast friends, if you're listening on Spotify, I don't know if my notes for the timestamps sync over, but if you search for Annie Botticelli Astro Kisses podcast and find my Buzzsprout homepage, I do have the timestamps listed there. So just bear with me for a little bit while we lay the foundation for the new moon, and then you can get right into the section of what will be activated, what seeds you can actively plant for the placement of this moon in your chart for your sun, rising, moon, whatever else you watch for. Okay, so we'll evolve into that as this report progresses. And I'm very excited to give you one very important piece of information before we get into hours of goodness here. If you have wanted to study astrology with a human, with human-made content by me to help you become a professional astrologer, earn money as an astrologer, or just learn to help your friends and your family in an organized, systematic way that gets you the results that you want to be able to actually read charts and get $2,500 worth of free promos in my promo season right now, go to beastropro.com, astropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. Okay, so let's get back to all this Aries energy and just kind of talk about the energy of Aries, which also rules the first house. You know, these are synonymous in some ways, but we're just going to focus on the Aries energy here and look at a list of some things that are brought up by this new moon, some topics that you may see, some seed planting going on, some things bubbling out from your subconscious to be dealt with, things with your identity and your self-image, initiation and beginnings of things, new beginnings, new chapters. And we are indeed in a time for new chapters with all of this Aries energy, including Mars, which rules Aries, in its own sign. We've got short-term Mercury, Mars, the sun, and of course the new moon there. Long-term, we have recently joined Neptune, Saturn there. We've had Aries there forever. Chiron's been there for many years, about to shift very soon into Taurus. So all of this energy is focused around these areas of your life: courage and bravery, your physical body and appearance and your health, your personal development, your independence and autonomy, leadership and self-assertion, aggression and conflict, survival instincts, birth and early childhood, inspiration, motivation, trailblazing, pioneering, impetus, obsession. So you may notice all of those things getting really, really actively flared up. So you may be like a bull in a china shop. Too much Aries energy can also bring up a lot of ego, can bring a lot of pride, can bring fighting. And I'm not going to get too much into that, but I know that it's very obvious some of the ways the Aries energy is manifesting now, and not some good ways in the world. But we can, with our conscious energy, use this powerful initiation energy and action-taking energy to try to do what we can for things that matter to us in our own families, in our own lives, and in the world. So it's very, very, very much like, a fire burning under you where you're ready to do something, ready to take action. And you will be feeling that. And this new moon, if you can't do the big things you want to do at this new moon, it's a great time to plant seeds for bigger things that you want to come. And couldn't be a better time, because around April 10th or so through around June 12th or so, we've got this open period free from personal planet retrogrades and their shadow periods. And at the time of this new moon, every single planet and even many of the star goddess asteroids we look at are all moving direct. So this is a very powerful time for forward movement, for taking action, for getting stuff done, for being unimpeded in goal setting and achieving. And you will feel that at this new moon. So all of that's wrapped up into this time. And things that you start new now will have the birth date of, or it's like a birth date for your new ventures, and it will carry all of this momentum. So let's talk about some of the aspects that are occurring at the time, around the time of the new moon, and just before and just after the day of the new moon, so you can see some of the other layers that are worked into this time. And all of the things we're talking about right here are for all signs. I'll get into the timestamp section where we get into an additional layer for each of the individual signs, but everything we're talking about here, everyone will experience, but it's just as important to know. All right, on the day of the new moon, not only do we have the sun and the moon together, but Chiron and Aries are right there. Chiron and Aries have been creating a massive amount of mischief in the world. But again, this is a time where repressed things can come out, massive healing can occur, and, it's a very highly charged reset point. My focus in astrology is on personal development and individual development, and how we can use our understanding of the stars to align our actions with the planetary rhythms so that life can be easier for us through that understanding. And we can just gain some peace and understanding from what's going on, and seeing what energetic patterns are there and how they're affecting us. And this is a very highly charged personal reset point. Old wounds definitely may come up from this combination of Chiron and Aries. There could be something that you are working with. You could be trying to heal something, heal scarring, physical scarring, heal emotional, mental scarring, relationship scarring. Things having to do with self-worth and rejection and being yourself, not being enough, or feeling that like it isn't, or that you're getting in trouble for that. You might feel this very strong urge to assert yourself, and in some cases it will be completely appropriate. But we have to keep in mind the very warlike energy of Aries, being ruled by Mars, the god of war. Mars also in Aries right now, as well as all of these other planets and these conjunctions, making this more powerful. So the type of cascade that may be put in place by any actions that you take now may go far into the distance. So not acting in anger will be very helpful to you, because an anger cascade can set into motion quite a dangerous set of responses. So it is important to know that even though asserting yourself may be wise and may be needed, and it may be about time for certain situations, clearing through as much of the negative charge before taking the actions can help to have more understanding as to why you're doing it, rather than just being mad, and what your hoped outcome can be, and trying to carry some of the energy of what you want to happen, rather than things that will just cause, back and forth conflict. So it's very powerful in the way that it's super motivating. It gives you a lot of incentive and ambition, and a massive pressure to change and, make something happen, clear up these power dynamics. But the intensity in interactions with others, with yourself, just really, really guard your head, guard your physical body, and watch out for impulsiveness, because that's going to be one of the main shadow stories of this time, is impulsiveness and recklessness and ego and anger and something happening so quickly and then setting a chain of events. So yeah, it's good to be aware that that can happen that way, because if you already are mad about something, trying to clear that and get help with professional people who do this, writing it down, everything you want to say, and then ripping it up, punching bags, just be careful you don't hurt yourself in the punching bag. Like, it's that kind of energy where anything done in anger can actually go into harm. But there is going to definitely be this feeling like you can't do things the same way anymore. And it could bring solutions or ideas and movement towards doing things differently. If you're moving towards a new identity, even something as simple as a new trade or a new group of people that you want people to know the things you're excited about now, not the things that you're known for then. All of that is really wonderful for this new moon. And although there's some pressure around it, sometimes pressure is what makes the diamond. Sometimes pressure is what's needed for a new birth. As anyone who's delivered a baby knows, sometimes birthing is not fun, but the prize is great. So that's the kind of energy that's happening now. It's a very birthing type of energy. Okay, so at the same time, there's going to be a square with the moon and Pluto as the moon moves on a little bit from when it's in the exact new moon position. It will get to 5 degrees of Taurus, at which point it will square Pluto. Pluto, what do we know about that? It rules nuclear energy. It rules everything that's positive and negative about the essence of nuclear energy, which is that it can fuel an entire nation or that it can destroy everything. So we're dancing with this combination of prominent Mars and Pluto, which can make it very dangerous, which I have to give you a heads up about, even though I'm a very positive Sagittarius, optimistic person. It is good to know when things are a little bit dicey. And some things around this new moon can be dicey like that. And this whole season, as we've seen, for a lot of different reasons, especially involving all of this Aries energy, has been, more explosive than anyone, would want. And that can be literally and figuratively. So, just walk with this understanding of this time. But that's not the only thing that's going on at this time. The next day, the 18th, we've got a beautiful aspect between Mercury and Pluto. And while that's not technically loaded right into the new moon itself, it's happening close enough to the time that it's factored into the total energetic. So this can bring movement that has a creative solution. This can bring networking and social opportunities. It can bring a platform for communication. It can bring productive communication, and it can bring very fulfilling interactions with other people. So if you have to have a conversation with someone, things may get a little tense around the new moon, but as the new moon passes, you have this really nice energy that has more accord. So that is very promising. Now, the day before, not only is the moon, we talked about how the new moon was conjunct Chiron and Aries. The sun crossed over Chiron there. So kind of that energy of bringing these wounds to light is starting before we get to the new moon. And then Mercury is going to be conjunct with Neptune. So this is a time of idealism. It is a time of deception or disillusion. It's a time of fogginess and confusion amidst a whole lot of direction. So just, if you feel unclear, this energy will pass and you'll be able to get back to your clarity. That's the important thing to know about that addition. Now, as we talked about Mars getting, warlike and Pluto causing trouble with that square, we also are going to actually be having a nice aspect between Pluto and Mars, which again can lead to solutions, lead to positive movement forward, can lead to actions that use power in a way that is conducive for the individual, Aries, and the greater good, Aquarius. So that's really a beautiful aspect rolled in to some of these other points. It's like the energy of having a very raw conversation, things getting heated, then them clearing out, and then coming to an accord. So you may notice that go on in your life. Okay, so now I'm going to go over a few resources that can be helpful to you. And then we're going to go into the timestamped section where you can watch the sections for your sun, your moon and rising, if you know it, any other placement you have that you want to see that layer of your being. We are all so much more than our sun sign. And the more of these layers you look at, the more of a complete, it won't be a complete, but more of a detailed astrological picture you get for yourself. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Aries friends, so this kickoff to the astrological new year, new moon in Aries, new moon in your sign, is going to be at almost 28 degrees, and that is in your first house. Aries moon, Aries sun, Aries rising, any Aries placement you're listening for, this is going to be a layer for you. Aries friends with birthdays at the very end of the sign, the last few days or very late degrees, like 25 degrees on, the closer to 28 degrees, you may feel this more directly and consciously because it will directly hit your placement. All right, so let's talk about what it will be like as this new moon lights up your first house. This is a very exciting time. It's an actual personal reset point. It feels like a new year in very many ways because it's beginning a cycle of personal emergence. You will notice a heightened focus on your identity, on your self-image, how you show up in the world, how you present yourself to others, and how they see you. You will very likely have this strong urge to reinvent yourself, refresh your look or image, redefine yourself. And since it's a new moon, you may just be at the very beginning of planting those seeds for a future bringing out party along these lines. Or you may be at the point of presenting it. But either way, it's a new beginning along those lines. You may enjoy increased visibility with what you're doing. Could put you in the limelight. People could notice you more, even if it's subtle. You may notice that there's this natural push towards independence, autonomy, self-leadership. You'll notice your emotional sensitivity increases as you perceive more of what's going on of other people's perceptions about you. Your instincts will be sharper. Your body and your intuition may speak more loudly. This house pertains to your physical body and your physicality. So you may notice a new beginning in the relationship with your body, treating it better, eating better, exercise, self-care. And you may notice a unique rhythm beginning. Like, I need to do this my way now. Interestingly, this may be a time where the woodpecker may come and visit you. Woodpeckers speak of the energy of new rhythms and doing things in your own unique rhythm. And this new moon here is planting seeds for you doing things in your own way, which may or may not be different than people around you or how it's been done before. But there's some sort of new rhythm beginning. There are many opportunities that come from this placement. A lot of healing opportunities for your very earliest times when you were born, birth trauma. Your very early childhood could have opportunities to heal from that period of time. Lots of gifts can come from this. Overall, you get to author a new version of yourself. So if you've been imprinted in some way by something that happened to you, scarred literally or figuratively, this could be a time of regeneration where this new version of yourself either starts to emerge visibly to others, or you feel it inside of you and it starts there first. Or that you start planting the seeds for this future version to come out more. Something really great that you can do with this energy is to shift the patterns that have followed you for years as it relates to who you are and how you present yourself in the world. This is very much about how people are going to respond to you as you feel different. And sometimes it's just a perceptual shift that happens internally, and then you start noticing that other people notice it, even if you don't make a loud announcement about it. But depending on where you're at in your process, you may be ready to make a loud announcement about it. But that all can be in your own flow. This is a really great time to set intentions, either out where you're telling others this is what you intend to do, or these quiet moments. All that focus around who you're becoming, what you're embodying, how you show up. And the energetics, the essence of this house that's being activated by this new moon has to do with some key words and key experiences. Confidence and courage and authenticity. You may notice those themes coming up very strongly. You may notice the physical vitality and strength that you have or don't have, and planting seeds to improve those or to enhance what you already have. This can also have to do with clear boundaries and more of this self-definition process. So basically, as you're defining yourself, you're defining your boundaries and noticing where you may have allowed infringements. You may develop a new personal style or expression. You may step more into leadership, visibility, or initiative. This is a time where you may consider doing something different about your appearance, even small shifts. Pay attention to the current stars, for if you're wanting to make big moves with this, because sometimes there are times that the current stars aren't as good for big decisions here, but you can listen to current horoscopes to understand the energetics of the bigger picture of what's going on, to see what level you're ready to activate that on. It's a really fantastic time to start a new habit, personal habits, personal routines, exercise programs, something where you're more mindful about your body and what you put in it. This may be a time to take the lead on something instead of waiting, or to set an intention that you want to become a person that does that more. And if there's a situation where you're doing that already, maybe you'll want to dial that back a little bit and wait for an invitation. This is all about where you're at in something new for you, and it's not going to look the same for everybody. This could be a good time to update photos and branding, or be plotting that out or strategizing how you're going to do that. There's always a shadow side to every sign, every placement, every house. And when we've got this first house activated, some things to be mindful of are acting impulsively just to prove independence, so overcompensating in those arenas, over-identifying with appearance, versus your deeper identity. Also looking out for forcing change instead of allowing this organic emergence. So if, you're at a part of this cycle where it's not exactly in the flow to force change and you try to force that could become a problem. But depending on the energetics of the time, it could be the time to really push forward on something. And also be mindful of the reactivity level. There could be an overreaction about how others see you, or something that happens, or something that someone says or does, as part of the shadow side of this moon. Overall, this is a time for self-reinvention, and this self-reinvention will naturally create new outcomes. A simple ritual to really utilize this new moon is to write down the part of you that you want to leave behind and who you want to become. Speak your intentions out loud. Feel them as if they've already come true. And to do one physical action immediately after to anchor it into the body. So you could do this while you're walking. You could do this while you're exercising. You could, take some physical action in the direction of your intentions that sort of make it locked into your muscle memory. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Taurus friends, Taurus sun, moon, rising, any other Taurus placement you're listening for, this new moon at almost 28 degrees of Aries is going to light up your 12th house. Okay, so let's do our deep dive into what this new moon in your 12th house can mean for you, how to best use it, what kinds of things you may see, what kinds of themes are you planting seeds for that will be able to develop over the next 13 moons. The new moon in the 12th house is a closure and a spiritual reset point. This is a point where you kind of come back to yourself, into your internal space, your subconscious mind, your unconscious space, the cosmic consciousness where everything is, that quiet spiritual point where we're all connected. It's a point of unity. You'll see this heightened focus on rest, quiet, private activities, things behind closed doors, healing, inner processing. This also can manifest as artistic pursuits, like kind of quiet to yourself in your artistic flow, with spirit speaking to you and you channeling your gift out. You may feel this pull towards solitude and reflection and quiet time and really personal private pursuits that are, just more quiet. It's like a protection of an egg in a nest. It's that point before which individuation comes. The 12th house is that final culmination of the 12 zodiac signs, from which the zodiac wheel starts again into the new moon, into the first, that baby newborn individuation age, where something unique and individual spurs from the collective. But this 12th house energy is that energy that just is everything from which everything springs. It's this beautiful, quiet point of pure energy, emotions, and subtle environments. You may notice at this time an awareness of things that are ending. This could be a very big closure point. As I said, it's like a closure reset. The end of a cycle, a time when you're planning for the future for certain things, but not quite ready to bring that out yet. Or the chapter that's beginning is a new vibrant chapter, but it's very internal, or it's very private. So you'll have this awareness of something ending and ready to be released. And along with this may come vivid dreams and intuition heightening, insights that seem to come in from the ethers or from the language of spirit through synchronicity. Synchronicities may be extra strong at this time. Animal messengers, angels, guides, waking dreams, things like that. Like there's something that, like a sense you're feeling of something's dissolving behind the scenes, ready to be reborn again, but from this space of, everything kind of melting into one. There may be some lower physical energy, depending on what else is going on in the chart, in the sky, in you, but it can be an expanded, deeper awareness. It's a very quiet reset, inner reset point. There are always opportunities that we have at each new moon and gifts that can come with this energy. And one of the best things that happens from this new moon in the 12th house is that you get to release the past and clear the space for a new cycle. So it's like a wrapping up of things. It's a tying together of loose ends. It's a packaging up and sending off and clearing up and clearing out so that you're ready for something new to be born. It's a time when you can really heal patterns on a very deep subconscious level, where you can confront fears. I always like to call this space the attic of your being. In that attic could be things that your ancestors left your family, just heirlooms. And in the attic could be, gross stuff from being neglected up there. But in the heirlooms could be gold, or like literally gold, or something very valuable financially or emotionally or nostalgically in some way. But however it is, it's a place of this deep exploration that you never know what you may find in there, and you have to wade through some of the gunk in order to be able to get at the gold. It's a really fantastic time for restoration, forgiveness, surrender, prayer, meditation, anything that works on the psychological space, inner work. I'll list a few of my favorites. You can look these up. EMDR and NLP, which have been used for trauma clearing. EFT, the emotional freedom technique, is a way to relax your nervous system, cut your cortisol levels, and work with blocks. You could do genetic testing and find out things literally from your ancestors that could be holding you back, and confront those things or heal those things. And so everything you're completing now is going to prepare you for a level of rebirth that will come after this process. It's always wonderful to plant seeds at this time consciously. And when you align the energies of your seed planting with the energy of the house that the new moon is in for you, it magnifies its power. So you're focusing on letting go of past attachments, habits or identities, addictions, fears, old habits that aren't serving you. You're healing emotional or energetic wounds. You're developing these spiritual practices, or the inner connection where you get your guidance from your connection to spirit, and that you're not distracted by other things around you, and you develop that relationship. You're letting go of control, and you're trusting divine timing, and creating that space for rest and renewal, and sacred space for a long time to come, so that you have that place to come back to regularly. And you're also focusing on strengthening your intuition and your inner guidance. So you can plant seeds along those lines and use affirmations that begin with, I release, fear, or ... You fill in what you want to release. I release negativity. I release doubt. You can also use affirmations like, I allow myself to rest and restore, or I trust the unfolding of whatever it is that you're trying to sort of surrender. There are a lot of ways you can align actions with this new moon by actively making the choice to prioritize rest and sleep and quiet time. You can ask your subconscious mind something before you go to sleep and see if it can help to get worked out in your dream or get some insights when you wake up. Anchoring in quiet time, journaling, meditating, spending time in reflection. This could be in nature or this could be in a quiet space inside. You can align your actions with this new moon by reducing your external noise and just taking kind of a break from everything and stepping away from unnecessary commitments and making a habit to do that periodically, where you can get in a rhythm that keeps you refreshed. The decluttering energy here is more emotional, but can also be physical spaces that you clear out quietly and intentionally to help you feel better in those spaces. You can align the actions with spending time alone to reconnect with yourself, spending time in nature, allowing things to end without forcing the closure, even if the closure is wanting to come, and actively engaging in gentle healing practices, energy work, breath work, things like that. Every placement has a shadow side, and the shadow side of the 12th house, some things you can look out for. This energetics can manifest on a spectrum of experience from highest to lowest, and we don't ever know how that's going to manifest. But if you're kind of aware that escapism or avoidance instead of conscious rest, addictive habits or over-isolation, withdrawing too much, if those are not functional, if you're taking space and you're taking too much space and you're really losing connection or getting lost in your isolation, that could be, a shadow side of this 12th house. So if you already are doing that, you can use this new moon to try to set intentions to become more consciously connected. Some other things to be mindful of from the shadow perspective of the 12th house is ignoring your intuitive nudges, confusion, or like lack of clarity that can lead to inaction, and trying to hold on to what's clearly ready to dissolve. The word dissolution and dissolve, those words are very active for this placement because of the rulership of this house. It is, this where everything dissolves into the same, and things can dissolve away, but it can bring some confusion or escapism, and you just have to watch out for that shadow side. I always like simple rituals at new moons to ground the energy in and to actively use it. When you write your seed planting intentions down, say them out loud and feel them as if they've already come true, you're activating the reticular activating system in your brain, which serves as a filter. When you activate that part of your brain, this is actually the physiology of manifestation. And you're basically telling your brain, I want you to not filter out things that would lead me to these outcomes. And that's how you can actively engage your inner space to create the intentions that you have. And then take some sort of quiet or symbolic act of release after to ground in your ceremony. So the bottom line is that this very quiet, secret even place for this new moon is starting this 13 moon cycle for closure and healing and preparation. It's not just about ending things, but it's like a sacred clearing that will make the space for your next becoming. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, You can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Gemini friends, Sun, Moon, Rising, any other Gemini placement you're listening for. This new moon at almost 28 degrees of Aries that kicks off the new astrological year party is going to light up your 11th house. All right, let's do this deep dive into what this new moon in your 11th house can look like, what seeds to plant, what to expect, what's being highlighted for you at this time, and the opportunities and gifts that can come along with this. A new moon in the 11th house is a future-focused and community-oriented reset point. So your place out in the group, in the community, you're belonging to something bigger than yourself, is really coming into focus now, and seeds are being planted for a new 13 moon cycle of how you want this to develop. You may have a culmination have happened recently of the previous 13 moons, and now we're stepping into the next chapter, either with new things or another layer of what has already been in process. You may see this heightened focus on friendships and groups and networks, community-based projects, online things, internet-based projects, things that have to do with patents or futuristic types of things. You may feel this pull towards connection and collaboration and shared vision of being part of a group that speaks your language, literally or figuratively, and these new opportunities that come through social circles or networking. Inspiration around big dreams, goals, and what's possible long-term in the scheme of life for humanity, and this sense of wanting to be part of something bigger. What also may come along with this energy is encounters with people who reflect your future direction, who are asking these big questions, who you want to connect with to be a part of something. There are many opportunities and gifts that come along with each new moon, and the ones that come with new moons in the 11th house include getting to align with people and environments that support your future and the future. Another opportunity that comes is that you get to begin this new chapter within a community, within audience building for a bigger purpose, within a collaborative space that includes a diverse, type of people who are all having a shared goal or common focus. It's a really prime time for expanding your network and seeing how you can be supportive to groups and be fulfilled within groups, and also how a wide range of people can be supportive to the things that you're working on. You may find people who are super excited about the things you're super excited about, and that can really feed your soul. Your very, very big dreams can really gain momentum through this connection and support, because the things that you don't know how to do or you can't do, probably there's someone else that knows how to, and collaborating in that space can be very powerful at this time. These are the big dreams, not the ones you have at night, but the big dreams in your life. Sometimes the ones that are too big to even speak out loud because you might feel like that's daunting, or you're afraid to even admit that you'd like it or like to do it. So that's the kind of thing that we're talking about with this 11th house. There are many seeds that can be planted along the topics I've just discussed, and intentions that work really well. And setting seeds into motion with intentions at the new moon time is a very powerful way to actively use the energy. Affirmations, you fill in the blanks. I align with people who. I'm supported in achieving blank. I contribute my gifts to. And some examples of the topics that may fill in those blanks are building or expanding your community or audience, connecting with like-minded individuals, collaborating on shared goals and projects, and clarifying these long-term dreams and aspirations. Sometimes we get clarity by speaking about what we're wanting to create. And in those cases, this energy is very, very conducive for that, where you'll get someone to agree with you and say, yes, that's a great idea. Yes, you can do it. And sometimes that's all you need as inspiration to move forward. Finding your place within this group can help you get that sense of belonging and cut out the loneliness that you may have been feeling when you were a one-person show. And it can really attract supportive friendships and alliances. One-on-one friendships can be included here. And so friends that you have and friends that you've yet to meet, new seeds can be planted in those relationships at this time. There are many ways to actively align with using this energy, as I'm always talking about aligning with the natural rhythms instead of working against them, like riding a wave to the shore. If you jump on the wave of the energy of the 11th house and you align your intentions with that energy and your actions with those energies, then it's much more fun to take that wave and just sort of the ease of riding it back to shore. So some aligned actions that you can take at this time are to reach out to friends and colleagues, or make new connections, or reach out to old connections. Join a group or a community or a network that's aligned with your interests, whether it's online or in person. Make a commitment to share your ideas or goals with others in a way that feels productive and helpful to you. Ways to share your ideas that have this collaboration platform where you're supporting others and they're supporting you as well. Going to events, online or in person, that will expand your circle. Reassessing which connections feel aligned and which ones are draining, and this new moon can be very powerful for that. You're finishing this 13-moon cycle within this realm and starting a new one, and you may be taking stock of the people you surround yourself with and what you want to be different in the future. Every moon, every placement, every house has a potential shadow side. Doesn't necessarily mean all these things will come up for each person, but some things to be aware of that could come up are trying to fit in where you don't truly belong, or not leaving a place that you've lost resonance with possibly a long time ago. Trying to keep something up that really isn't you is a shadow side of this moon, and asking the deep questions and planting the seeds for getting out of those situations may be how you can turn that shadow side around. The over-reliance on others instead of maintaining this self-direction is also a shadow side of this energy, where there's too much dependency on others, where you're forgetting yourself and your gifts and your uniqueness within the group. Something else that comes up as a shadow side is spreading your energy too thin across too many connections and not being able to truly show up for any one of them. The comparing of your path and your gifts to others may also be a shadow side. When you're surrounded by a lot of people, some cases you may either feel outshined by things other people are doing, or where they've been able to be successful if you haven't yet, or there may be some judgment that comes in if you feel like you are outshining. And again, this might not be true for every person. This is a shadow side that can come up, and you get to assess for yourself whether this is relevant. Losing sight of those personal goals with the group dynamic, sometimes there's a flexibility in this group dynamic where you may start noticing your dream is being changed by the input of others. And so a shadow side of this moon may be this realization that you have to get more of a pure you in spirit kind of back to your manifestation, and if you've fallen into something that isn't what you're trying to create. I always like simple rituals at moons to ground in the energy, to actively use it. Writing down, saying out loud, and feeling as if it's already come true, these intentions that you have at this time, is a really great way to activate your reticular activating system. We can talk about manifestation from a spiritual perspective, but really, manifestation is a physiological event that is facilitated by the reticular activating system in your brain. When you say something out loud, feel it, repeat it, have your vision board, tell everybody about it, or quietly intend it enough, you are telling your filtration system in your brain anything that will give you what you're asking for, let the filter be open to those things. And the things that will block you from those things, let the filter be closed. So this is, a chance where you can really activate that system. And after you focus on your intention setting and really letting your reticular activating system know how it can help you, take one connection or community-based action immediately after. A small seed planting, a commitment to go to a gathering, just something where you are using this for an action that can be turning into something over the next 13 moons that can be very, very powerful. The bottom line about this new moon in the 11th house for you is that this is a powerful cycle for building connections, expanding into your future vision, aligning with others in a group, for yourself and for the greater good of others and the greater good of all. And this isn't just about more people coming into your life. This is about a discernment of a supportive network that helps you bring your dreams into reality and supports others in that process. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Cancer friends, Sun, Moon, Rising Cancer, any other Cancer placement you're listening for, you are going to have this new moon at almost 28 degrees of Aries light up your 10th house. All right, let's take a deep dive into what this new moon will activate for you now in your 10th house, as that is where it is for you. This is a career and public life reset point. For those of you for whom career and employment are not important, this is your place out in the world. It's your public image. It's what you are doing in the world with your talents, whether it's for money or not. So we're having a 13 moon reset point. This is a culmination that's just passed of 13 moons from the last time this happened. And now we're setting a new beginning for the next 13 moons. So a new layer to what's going on. You'll notice this heightened focus on goals and reputation and long-term direction, ambitions, increased visibility. Others may be noticing your actions and choices. You may be cast into the limelight. And again, like I said, this is career and employment and, your work world and your business world and your professional life. But it's also those places where you're channeling your energy into things that are unpaid. There are many people that are famous for doing something, but they don't make money, right? There's the energy of fame and how you're known and how the public sees you, whether it's a small local public or whether it's a wide international public. This 10th house is focused on it all. You may feel this pull towards achievement and leadership and stepping up, climbing the mountain, and this awareness of your role in the world and how you're perceived and what you can do with it. It's a place to play with the material reality, to see exactly what you can do and exactly what you can create in a very public way. It has to do with leadership. It has to do with management of others. It can have to do with authority and being an authority figure on some sort of topic or in that world that you play in. And you may really get this sense that it's time to take something seriously. If you've been too serious, this new moon may help you to make some shifts in that as well, but ruled by Saturn, this area is very much about the practical, consistent things that you do, the hard work that you do that creates the very material outcomes. You may feel this motivation to build something meaningful and lasting and to help lift others with the work that you do. There is a very strong support of being an inspiration to others and to giving them leadership or mentorship in order to achieve their goals as well. There are many opportunities that come and gifts that come from each of the placements of the new moon, and the ones that you get here include getting to reset your trajectory and define this path forward. This is a new time where you are seed planting. Maybe this is a time for something very big to start for you, but if it isn't, this is a time where you can take small steps, set intentions, get clarity around where you want to be within the next 13 moons and get your plan and your strategy together. This is a very strategic moon. This is one where planning things out, looking at the options, and looking at 7 generations from now or 7 generations in the life cycle of your project are what we're going to be considering here. And also, from the indigenous perspective of the 7 generations, thinking about how what you do now will affect the next 7 generations. So there could be something, from that perspective that you're trying to create a lasting legacy that will be positive for many generations to come. It could be on that level, or it could be something very simple and more personal to you and your nearer surroundings. Maybe a garden club, maybe, something where you are trying to make an impact and you're planting seeds at this time to do that. You can definitely begin this new chapter in any of these places that the 10th house rules, including career and purpose, public identity, employment, business. It's a really wonderful time for stepping into leadership and ownership. I like to think of the word ownership as stewardship because we can't take the stuff that we own with us and when we pass away. So from the perspective of this house, it really rules that energy of stewardship. And this may be a very magical word for you to embrace or to deepen, where whatever you, quote, own or take ownership of, you're a steward of that thing, of that project. And your stewardship skills have a very strong chance to build now, and you can plant seeds towards that. I love to plant seeds at the new moon. This is the time when this happens naturally, whether you're intending to or not, and it's a time when you can actively use it to plant seeds. On the topics of advancing or shifting your career path, if you don't like the job that you're in, you can plant seeds around what is it that you would like to have as part of your future work experience? What is it you'd like to have as your future employment experience? What is it that you like about what you're doing and that you want to affirm more into? It's really just taking a stock of where you're at, where you've been, and how you can move towards where you want to go. You can use affirmations or intention setting like, I step into my role as, or I am well known for, or I build success through, and then you fill in those blanks. Very, very important to clarify your long-term goals, and this moon is wonderful for doing that. If you're wanting to do something with your professional growth, creating a structure for that is very, very powerful at this time. And it really does embody the energy of commitment to something that is a meaningful purpose, something that you may want to be in effect for a really long time. So there are many aligned actions that you can take. All of them have to do with long-term goals, and some of these can be shorter-term next steps for a bigger vision that has yet to expand or become clear. Making a move in your career, applying, launching, pitching, committing, taking responsibility for something that's bigger than before, or updating your professional presence, updating a CV or a website or branding, having a conversation with authority figures or mentors, or you stepping into that role, as I mentioned before. Making a commitment to show up consistently and visibly in your work, where you have a presence that is consistent and is clear. And making these decisions that align with your future and not just the present. This is a very long-term energy. Every sign, every placement, every house has a full range of potential expression from lowest to highest, and included in that we have a shadow side. Some shadow energies that can come up at this time have to do with overworking or tying worth solely to achievement for yourself or others. This can have to do with a fear of visibility or a fear of failure that's holding you back. And those shadow sides may come up now as you start to dream big or think about that longer term plan. You may see some of this fear and doubt come up. The overseeking of external validation instead of internal alignment is something else that may come up as a shadow now, as well as taking on too much too quickly, or committing to things that you may not be able to follow through with, or ignoring your personal life in pursuit of success. Finding balance in your place out in the world is going to be a very big opportunity to plant seeds at this time. I love to use simple rituals at moon time to help ground in the energy and use it consciously. I always suggest writing down, saying out loud, and feeling as if it's already come true, that which you want to create, because the reticular activating system in your brain, it's a filtration system, actually hears those messages. We can speak about manifestation as something metaphysical, but it turns out that in the very sense that we know, it's actually physiological. We use this reticular activating system to manifest things. Just like when you go to buy a car, you all of a sudden notice all the car dealerships close to you. That's because your reticular activating system knew you were looking for a car, and it let down the filter where it usually filters those out because you didn't need them. And that's the same thing with these intentions. So anything on the topics that we've been speaking of, if you write down, say them out loud, feel them as if they've already come true, that's your indication to this system in your body to let the things in that will support these seeds that you're planting now. And after you do that, taking one career or goal-oriented action immediately, even if it's small, can really, add oomph to the commitment that you're making at this time. So the bottom line about this placement, this 10th house new moon, is that this is a very powerful new 13 moon cycle for stepping into your purpose and reshaping your public path. So you're talking about career goals, maybe. You're talking about your goals out in the world, whether it's for money or employment or not. But it's more than that. It's a clear direction, a clarity of purpose and direction that's building this long-lasting success, recognition, and accomplishment. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Leo friends, Leo sun, moon, rising, any Leo placement you're listening for. What I'm going to talk about here is where this moon is going to light up for you. That's going to be your 9th house. And if you are in the late degree, very late degree, so like August 17th through around August 23rd, or 25 degrees through 29 degrees, Leo placement, you all are going to have an extra special kiss from this new moon and fellow fire sign. All right, so let's do this deep dive into what you may see from the new moon's placement at this time in your 9th house. New moon in the ninth house represents this expansive and visionary reset point where your viewpoints reign supreme and your chance to reframe everything in your life is so powerfully strong. You'll see this heightened focus on your beliefs and meaning and the bigger picture, and the idea of having a bird's eye view of everything, a broad, horizon expanding type of energetic. You'll feel this pull towards growth and exploration and new perspectives and adventure and expansion, and this increased unquenchable desire for learning and teaching or sharing wisdom, the taking in of information and the putting out of information, writing, teaching, publishing, travel, higher education. All of these things are very, very powerful at this time, and it's wonderful to plant seeds for the next 13 moons on these topics. You may have an awareness of limiting beliefs that are ready to shift, and you may have that shift at this time where everything was the same really, but your viewpoint has now made it different. So nothing's changed around you, but how you're seeing it has, and that can make all the difference. This is an optimistic moon. This is a creative, solution-oriented moon. This is a using both hemispheres to come up with a transcendent fix to any issue in your life type of energy. There's this sense that is looming at this moon that there's more out there for me. You know, you're feeling like there's more than just this where I am right now, you know, and that feeling like anything can happen, you can go anywhere, and that there's a big wide world out there ready with opportunities for you. You may also feel this renewed connection to purpose and truth and possibility, and it can be very, very, very exciting. And if you're not quite there yet, you can plant the seeds now that can grow over the next 13 moons. Every moon has opportunities and gifts, and some of the real gifts here are that you get to expand beyond your old limitations and redefine what's possible, because mindset can do that. You can also begin this new chapter in learning. Maybe you take on a new school program, formal or informal. Maybe you're ready to get your published work or your speaking or something that you've made or created out there, content, somehow sharing your message. Even if you're not doing it completely now, some seeds being planted, moving in that direction for this to expand. This is an amazing time for aligning with that bigger vision that you have for your life. And growth happens when you step outside your comfort zone, and this may be a time for you to do that. Topics like immigration, international business may come up very strongly, different cultures, different languages, expanding into understanding how we have a really big world. Even if it's a television series, like Will Smith has a few television series that really focus on the earth and the people and the land and just sort of mind-blowing things going on out there. You may just have those seeds planted where everything that seems like it's gotten mundane or stagnant or boring or limited just gets, cast into this open playing field. I always like to plant new seeds at the new moon. It is a time for that. Some of this may be happening without you consciously doing it, and you can also use it to intentionally do it. So anything where you're focused on growth and vision and these belief-based intentions, like traveling or exploring new environments or studying or teaching something meaningful. Meaningfulness is very, very aligned with this house. Getting those ideas out there, sharing on how you are shifting your limited beliefs into empowering ones so that other people can be inspired. You getting inspired and inspiring others and connecting to this deeper sense of purpose, like your highest expression in this lifetime, and saying yes to opportunities that broaden your world. You can use the beginnings of affirmations like, I open myself up to, or I believe in the possibility of, or I expand into, or I say yes to, any of these things that we just talked about. Some other aligned actions that match with the flow of the energetics at this time have to do with signing up for a course or begin studying something new or going back to something and beginning a new chapter of something that you've always wanted to do or study. Making plans to take a trip, even if it's a small adventure, even if you're an armchair warrior and you're watching a television series, or even just making a vision board of places that you want to go and starting to plant the seeds for that widening of your worldview, even if you can't officially do it right now. Things like exploring spiritual or philosophical practices, looking for unifying forces in the world where we can find a lot of ways that we're different with different cultures and different people, but there are certain things that are just the same. Those unifying forces are amazing to focus on for your aligned actions at this time. Also reflecting on beliefs that may be limiting your growth. Try to go up to a perch above your house or your country or wherever and look at the bigger picture. Even look at some pictures of the earth from outer space that have been taken, from away from the earth, and just get that sense of how big everything is. Some things to be mindful of have to do with the shadow side. We always have a shadow side because we live on a planet of duality, and there is always a range of expression from lowest to highest, from shadow to, optimum expression, with how these things may manifest and the types of things that may come up. So some things to be aware of that may be activated at this time have to do with overcommitting or chasing too many possibilities at once. This is one of those moons that, in this particular house where it rules an energy that diversifies, likes to get its fingers in a lot of pudding pies. We've got 2 such placements in the chart like this that are really all over the place. And, you could stretch yourself too thin. That is a shadow side. You could focus on escaping reality instead of integrating actual growth into your daily life. Another shadow side is becoming too rigid or preachy about beliefs. If you discover something that's an all-encompassing truth that feels right to you, there is the chance where it could go into zealotry. That's a shadow side of this, where everything else that isn't that gets extinguished, and that there's no room for actual connection with anyone who doesn't have resonance with the ideas. So that is a shadow side of this particular placement. Also, ignoring practical steps while dreaming big. This is a time to dream big. This is a time to plant the seeds for something big that may even seem undoable. But the shadow side of this is not taking any practical steps or just letting it be a pie in the sky idea without taking any actual action or doing any of the work to make it happen. Also, there could be some recklessness of taking risks and being too dreamy about it, where there's not enough grounding and not enough of a dose or balancing of the material reality. Sometimes you have to ignore some of that stuff to manifest something big, but that is a shadow side of this placement where there could be a genuine ignoring of things that really need to be looked at when trying to take on whatever you're trying to create. I always like simple rituals at moon times to keep things grounded and to use the energy, always involving writing down, saying out loud, and feeling as if the things you're intending have already come true. This activates the reticular activating system. This is the place where manifestation and physiology meet. Although we speak of manifestation possibly as a spiritual matter, some people think it's woo-woo, but really it's physiological, because when you do these things, you write things down, you say them out loud, you feel them as if they've come true, you're actually telling the part of your brain called the reticular activating system to filter in things that will help you reach this goal. And that is really how manifesting works on a physiological level. So after you do your intention setting, and you're saying it out loud and feeling as if it's come true to get that reticular activating system on board, take one expansive action immediately. Just something, some seed planting. And if it's a time for big things, you can look to my astrology reports for the month and see what the general scene is. Is it a time for big things? Is it a time for more quiet actions? And then just align whatever matches there with the energetics of the time to corroborate this expansive action immediately, just so that you're planting some sort of seed. So the bottom line is that this is a very powerful cycle for expansion and growth and alignment and a bird's eye view and being the sage on the mountain, seeing the bigger picture. We're talking about new ideas, we're talking about new perspectives, but it's not just that. It's a broader perspective that opens doors and redefines your path forward, and also reimagines everything that's already in place through reframing. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, You can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at AnnieBClarity.com, Annie, the letter B, Clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Virgo friends, you'll have this new moon at 28 degrees of Aries, the kickoff party to the astrological new year, occurring for you in your 8th house. All right, let's do a deep dive into the new moon in the 8th house, where it is for you now. In some level of your being, you've got this deep emotional and transformational reset point. We've just ended a 13 moon cycle. We're beginning a new 13 moon cycle in this arena of your life. You will notice this heightened focus on shared resources, intimacy, energetic exchange, deep collaboration with resources, your inner resources and resources of other people that you share and collaborate with. There's going to be this increased awareness of what you're holding on to versus what you're ready to release, what's holding you down and what's giving you vitality. You'll feel this pull towards privacy and depth and inner processing and merging your power and energy with other people. The topics of power and control and people using their power wisely or not is going to come up very strongly, and there's a new reset point here for how you use your energy and how you deal with other people using their energy in different kind of ways. Intense emotions may surface and they're intending to transform. It can feel a little overwhelming, but here at the new moon, you're able to recognize this very, very deep emotional space and set intentions to move towards more fulfilling experiences. Themes around trust and vulnerability and control are going to come into big focus, and there are going to be very deep types of questions that come up. Mysteries. Focus on the mystery. Psychological, spiritual, other types of mysteries. Something about the unseen or the lesser seen realm is starting to crystallize now in a new way for you. Could involve financial matters involving others, or debts, investments, taxes, support, winnings, inheritances, wills, trusts, things like that. You may be starting something new, a new beginning in those arenas, and you will seem to get this sense of something ending and something new being born. This is a phoenix sort of energy, where there's a very big ending to something and something very powerful getting ready to begin. There are always opportunities and gifts with each new moon in the beginning of a new 13 moon cycle. And the real gifts here have to do with getting to release these old attachments and step into this more empowered version of yourself. It is the house of empowerment, and sometimes it does relate to financial empowerment, but very often it relates to emotional or spiritual empowerment or psychological empowerment. And you may find that you're ready to dig deep into your psyche or into the archetypal energies or into the unseen realm to get some answers that weren't as readily available in your material experience. Another great opportunity now is that you can transform these patterns that are around this fear and control and vulnerability and the use of power. And it's a really great time for this deep healing and this very profound energetic renewal. The the idea of true power emerging is going to come from when you let go of what no longer aligns. And this is a very deep process that you're moving along into a new chapter of now. I always like new moons for seed planting. You can write them out loud, say them out loud, write them down, and feel them as if they've come true already. This tells your reticular activating system to activate the filter to allow in anything that will support these intentions. Manifestation is actually physiological. We can talk about it in spiritual terms, we can talk about it in other terms, but when it comes down to it in your body, it is actually physiological. You can call on that part of your brain that filters to let open the filters of maybe things that have been getting blocked out along these lines of these topics that you want information and resources to come in. So when you write it down, say it out loud, and feel it as if it's already come true, those are notifications to that reticular activating system to activate the filter, to block things that are not serving this goal, and to let ones in that are. You can start out your intentions with things like, I release and transform, and then you fill in the blank. I trust myself to, and then you fill in the blank. I'm open to deep and supportive transformation in, and then you fill in the blank. And some of the examples of blanks that you can put in there are letting go of emotional baggage or past attachments. This is really a house of emotional vitality that comes from the process of letting go. Healing trust or intimacy wounds is another way you can fill in those dots. Reclaiming personal power and being your personal best. Transforming these financial entanglements or the shared resources that you have and any troubles or battles that have occurred in those spaces. You could fill in the blanks with wanting to intend to open to deeper emotional or spiritual connection or understandings, and even visitations or connections to the lesser seen world through spiritual means. And you can also focus on embracing change instead of resisting it. There are many ways you can align your actions with the energies that are here. As I'm always saying, if we align with the natural rhythms instead of working against them, then everything can be much smoother and we can capitalize on the power of the direction it's going, kind of like a wave is moving to shore and you jump on the wave and you ride it to shore. You didn't have to do anything other than align when you jumped on your surfboard into that wave. You know, that's what we can get to do, and understanding these rhythms will help us to do that. So doing some sort of release practice like journaling or letting go or meditation or something where you're clearing your inner space, that really aligns with this energy. Things like having deep and honest conversations about things that are meaningful to you and important, very close relationships. Things like addressing these shared finances or debts or financial agreements where you take action on, making progress in those arenas. The topic of inner work is a really great aligned action. Therapy, shadow work. Some of the best shadow work can be done with this 8th house energy. Things like a decluttering of your emotional world. You can declutter outside as well, but this is a very emotional an emotional focus. And sometimes your physical items hold a lot of emotional energy. So there could be, an alignment there with clearing through or even reorganizing. If there are things that are very negatively emotional to you that you see in your periphery, but you really want to keep them, you maybe don't want to put them out of sight and just stop triggering that. There are many things you can do, but aligning your actions with those kind of things now is very powerful. Of course, setting energetic boundaries is always very important, and allowing yourself to feel and kind of fall into the waves of emotion without necessarily trying to fix it. Now, if you're getting lost in it and you need help getting out, of course, get whatever support that you need for that. But sometimes we just have to feel our way through, like a crying baby. They get all whacked out, they flail, and they throw their heads back. And then at the end of it, then the calm returns and they were able to express it. And that's kind of how the energy of this house works. So there's a shadow side to every sign, every placement, every house. Some of the shadow energies of this house have to do with power struggles or control dynamics. So just set your awareness to see if those are surfacing at this time, and if you want to use your intentions to try to navigate around making positive changes there. Some other shadow things that may come up at this time: fear of change or holding on too tightly, things like emotional overwhelm without grounding or without support, avoidance of necessary endings or conversations. Sometimes it's possible to hole up and kind of go internal and avoid the things that have to be done in the external reality, and that could be a shadow side of this. Also, obsession, obsessive thinking, or digging without a resolution, and where it can become even pathological. So, the level of obsession about things or obsessively doing things is a shadow side of this energy that may be ready to be explored. But the bottom line either way is that this is a very profoundly powerful 13 moon cycle for this deep transformation, release, and renewal, where you're not just talking about letting go, but a profound shift that really frees your energy and restores or builds your personal power. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also, in another browser right now, go to AnnieHelpsYou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at AnnieBClarity.com, Annie, the letter B, Clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com, to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Libra friends, Libra sun, moon, rising, any other Libra placement you're listening for, this brilliant new moon in Aries at almost 28 degrees is going to light up your 7th house. Aries is your opposing and synergistic sign, so there's an extra storyline for you whenever something goes on in Aries. Those of you with birthdays around October 17th through around October 23rd, you all may get a little bit more intensity from this, as this moon will oppose your placement. Same goes for Libra placements around 24 degrees through 29 degrees. Okay, let's take a nice deep dive into what the new moon in the 7th house brings. That is where it is for you now. And you're looking at a relationship and connection reset point. All new moons create these reset points, and the arena that this is occurring is in that relationship space. During this time, you're going to feel this heightened pull of your energies into partnerships, one-on-one dynamics, agreements, contracts, things having to do with commitments to other people, how you relate to individuals, and how you relate to people in general. There's definitely going to be a chance for this increased awareness of how you show up with others and how they show up with you, and those patterns that you have in your relationship space. This drive towards seeking balance and harmony and mutual understanding sometimes can come through having to go get down and dirty and get through the stuff that's not working in order to get to the accord on the other side. But you're finding this draw to get this dealt with. This time may bring important conversations or shifts in these key relationships that are, the most important ones in your life. But they can be anything from personal to professional to social. And they could be people you know well or people that you don't know well. You're going to feel this sense of something really needing to shift with how you relate to people and noticing patterns of others' behavior or your behavior within relationship space, which may create these encounters that act as mirrors that reflect these parts back to yourself. The seventh house energy is often very reflective, where we sometimes experience this part of ourselves through other people. So noticing where something that is challenging you in someone else may actually be unresolved in yourself. So there's a really good reflection point with this moon. So there are always opportunities with every new moon and real gifts that come from the new moon. And with this one, you get to reset these relationship patterns and dynamics. That's really one of the main gifts. You start a new 13 moon cycle in this arena. You're finishing off a 13 moon cycle in this arena. There may be something that comes to fruition in a new chapter that begins as a result of that shift. Another great opportunity is that you can begin this new chapter in love, in business partnerships or collaborations, either new people coming in or new levels to the relationships that you already have. This is an amazing time for creating these healthier and more balanced connections and interactions with other people that are more fulfilling, and stepping away from dysfunction and more into mutual dependence or mutual synergy. And the gift that comes from helping you see yourself more clearly through others, and that can accelerate your growth, especially if you're willing to be open to that. Every new moon is a great time to plant seeds, and some of the seed planting that matches with the seventh house has to do with these relationship-based and connection-centered intentions, like calling in a romantic or business partner, or improving communication and harmony in existing relationships, or creating healthier boundaries and mutual respect of healing things that have been trouble in the past and stepping forward on a new, more positive foot. Things like becoming more open and receptive and collaborative, remembering you can't do everything yourself, releasing these patterns of overgiving or under-receiving, and strengthening and really connecting into emotional trust with other people. Some affirmation beginnings that you can add whatever you want to the ends of that go really well with seed planting here have to do with those relationships, as we said. So you could say something like, I attract and create relationships that ... foster your happiness and balance, or however you want to fill it in. I show up in partnership as, however you want to do that. I am open to balanced and supportive connections here. If you need somebody to support you in some arena of your life, like you need help, this is a fantastic time to find a professional that is actually really great at what you need help with. So in that way, it can turn into like a delegation of something that you're carrying the burden of yourself, that you really can just have someone else do for you that will make your life so much easier. So there are aligned actions that you can take that will match this energy. I'll give you a few here. Things like having an honest, intentional conversation with someone important, or even someone that's symbolic. Maybe their relationship isn't important to you, but you do something in that space that's symbolic for how you want to become or do more of. Things like setting or redefining these boundaries and expectations, and really evaluating, are the expectations in your relationship space reasonable? Are they true for how you are and who you're becoming? Do they need to be reset? Things like practice active listening and presence in conversation, acknowledging what someone says before sharing your side so that they feel heard, and that maybe you too can also feel more heard. These are really great aligned actions that match with this new moon, that can set a precedence, that can improve this space in your life. Something else you can do is focus on a collaboration or a partnership with a project or something that you're interested in, and reflect on the patterns that you're repeating in relationships that are functional and good, and how you can enhance that, and the ones that aren't as great, and see what seeds you can plant now to have positive shifts. A really big one, if you're ready to take responsibility for your role in a dynamic without self-blame or without blaming the other person, and just kind of see how maybe that dynamic in your life has happened before and what you may be doing to keep it in place, that could be a really great aligned action to take at this time. So every sign, every placement, every house has a shadow side. We have our full range of potential expression from lowest to highest, and so there's always a shadow side. So I want to give you a few things to be aware of how this shadow side can manifest at this time so that you can move through it consciously. One way is losing yourself in others or people pleasing. It is a time for connecting with other people and setting those nice wheels into motion for progress in this arena of your life. But losing yourself and people pleasing in ways that aren't authentic for you are going to catch up with you, as they always do. And so this may be a time where you can shift that, but the awareness that you're doing it, that shadow side may come up at this point. Something else the shadow side can bring is projecting issues onto others instead of self-reflecting. Also avoiding necessary conversations to keep the peace. In your particular case, it may be the best thing to get out of a conflict and do things that make more peace. But the shadow side of this placement also can be a habit of avoiding that conversation, just in order to keep the peace, which may leave the tensions unresolved. Another shadow aspect is expecting others to meet the needs that you haven't yet communicated. So if it might be very, very clear that you need something and need it a certain way in relationships, but it's possible that someone may need to hear that. And, this is a shadow side that may be important to look at now. And also over-compromising or resisting compromise entirely, some end of that polarity. I always like rituals at the new moon to keep everything grounded and to just make practical, clear use of the energy. I always like to write things down, say them out loud, feel them as if they've already come true, because that activates your reticular activating system in your brain, which is your filter. And when you affirm that to that part of your brain, it helps to filter in opportunities to create the intentions that you're setting out. And that's how that works. That's actually very much how manifestation works. It's actually a physiological component. It's spiritual in some ways, but it's actually physiological, and it's a mechanism of the brain that you can utilize actively. And then just take one relationship-focused action immediately, however small, or if the time is a big time, maybe you want to launch something big at this time. You have to, look to the current stars. You can watch my report for this month to see what the energetics are. Is it a time for the big things? Is it a time for the smaller things? And you can sort of align that way as well. But taking some sort of action right around this time programs in this energy for the whole life of the project. So the bottom line is that this is a very powerful new 13 moon cycle for resetting how you relate and connect with other people and your relationship with yourself as seen and reflected through others. And what you are looking to do is not just have better relationships, it's a bigger paradigm where there's more balance and consciousness in your way of partnering that reflects your growth. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Scorpio, sun, moon, rising, any Scorpio placement you're listening for. This brilliant new moon kicking off the astrological new year at 28 degrees of Aries is going to light up your 6th house. All right, let's do a deep dive about where the moon is for you right now in your 6th house. This is a practical and functional reset point. Efficiency, systems, your daily experience is ready for fresh renewal. Starting a new 13 moon cycle as you're closing out the previous 13 moon cycle. Along with this new moon, you may notice a heightened focus on health habits, routines, things you do every day. You may notice you're asking different questions, ones that have to do with your physical resiliency to stress, ones that have to do with nutrition, diets, exercise, meditation, getting help from practitioners to keep your body on track, and trying to be able to work more or work less and have more done. It's a productivity reset point. This moon may bring the awareness of what's working versus what's not working in your systems. Do you have chaos at home or in your car or at work? Do you need to do something to organize this or get things going in a way where you're not wasting time or money or other things? So you may feel this pull towards organization and efficiency and improvement, self-improvement and improvement of things around you. You'll see this increased attention to your work and your responsibilities and your service. If you're self-employed, there may be a focus on your business. If you are employed, there may be some sort of new beginning in your daily work experience. Maybe there's a new person there, a new boss, a new employee, or a new way that they're doing things. You may have a sensitivity that increases around your energy levels and how you deal with stress, and have a new awareness of your physical well-being. And you may have this desire to get proactive. One of the very not talked about rulers of the 6th house is a star goddess named Hygeia. And she was the daughter of a doctor, but she was actually more about prevention. So with this new moon, you may have a new lens of prevention of health things in your life. You may have a prevention of problems that are occurring in your daily experience. Maybe you tend to have traffic on this one road and you decide you're going to reroute and take another path. Things like that, where there's this proactive, preventative spirit that is building now over the next 13 months. And along with this, you may have this sense like, I need to get my life in order, and the tools will come to you or you will seek them out as to how you can do that. So this motivation to refine and organize and clean up and optimize is going to be very strong. This house is also the house that rules pets and animals. So if pets and animals are relevant for you in your life, you may notice some sort of new beginning or something relevant, a new awareness in this arena, either with pets and animals or working with them. New moons always bring opportunities and gifts, and some of the big ones here are that you get to reset your daily rhythms in a sustainable way. You get to evaluate the last 13 moons and see what wasn't sustainable and start to implement right now, planting seeds, how to make the next 13 more sustainable and build life rhythms that last. Another opportunity that is a really huge gift is that you can build habits that are directly supporting your health and productivity, and those can be one and the same. So this is a really strong time for making these small changes that create big long-term results, although you may be ready for some big changes at this point as well. Another gift here is that you can move from overwhelm into this clarity and management, manageable structures where you can finally start to feel like things are managed and step out of this chaotic, never feeling like you can get anything managed maelstrom of experience. So those are the gifts that you can experience at this time, or that you can plant the seeds to move towards. So some seeds to plant that will work to align with these energetics have to do with establishing consistent health routines, improving your diet or sleep or your movement, creating your better work-life balance, becoming more organized and efficient, reducing stress and overwhelm, and developing these systems that support your goals. And you can do that with affirmations or intentions along those lines. I support my health by, and then you fill in the blanks. My daily routine now reflects, however you want to put that, organization and structure or whatever you want to put in there. And you can create ease through whatever it is that you're intending to do. And this is an amazing time to lock that in. Some aligned actions that you can take now are to start or reset a daily routine. Keep it simple, keep it realistic, keep it practical. This house is all about simplicity. Something else you can do to align is to clean and organize or streamline your workspace or your schedule. Get the clutter off your phone. Get the clutter out of your social media. Get the clutter out of your car. It's just a time to take stock at how you're using your time and what's taking up bandwidth that you could be using for other things. Aligned actions also include beginning a health practice like focusing on hydration, mineralization, walking, stretching, conscious eating, paying attention to your food while you eat it, and looking at labels and understanding what you're eating more. Something else you can do at this time is to make a list and prioritize what actually matters daily. And you may find that some of the things you're doing don't actually matter, and you can make the shift there to get more in resonance with what you're trying to do. In some cases, you may be able to delegate or eliminate unnecessary tasks or unnecessary actions that you've just been doing kind of unconsciously. You can also track these habits or energy levels that will build awareness as to what it is that you need to do to make these improvements. And you can take one small step at least toward improving that workflow, even if it's something as simple as putting a hook by your door for your keys so that you never lose them again. You know, simple, small, practical things that take a moment to do, but that you'll have set as your rhythm always. And the same thing for your phone. You put your phone in a tray. You can find your phone, things like that, just practical steps. Every sign, every placement, every house has its shadow side. So we're going to talk a little bit now about the 6th house shadow sides so that you can be on the lookout in case you see any of this rearing up in yourself, or to help you better understand if it starts rearing up in your surroundings. Perfectionism, overly critical thoughts or comments of yourself or other people. Other people being critical of you and you wanting to take steps into making this different. Trying to overhaul everything at once. This is a time for small steps. There may be certain situations when the stars align where there really, really big steps are coming in this area with this new moon and major new chapters. And that's fine to be in the flow. But most of the time, we're not in one of those big times. So don't underestimate the power of those small steps, and you don't necessarily have to overhaul everything at once. The other shadow side of this can be this burnout that comes from overworking or overcommitting, or from ignoring your body's signals. Just because you're doing so much, you're not paying attention to the language of your body, which is through symptomology. Something else in the shadow side is getting stuck in being busy instead of being focused on being effective. So you can kind of tune in and see if any of that comes up for you. I always like rituals at the moon to kind of anchor the energies in and keep things simplified, but by still making good use of the energies. All of this is energy and everything is energy. And we can use that focus to make this as productive as possible. So writing down, saying out loud, feeling as if they've already come true, the intentions that you're making at this time. And then taking one practical, immediately actionable step in one of the areas that we talked about, or one in a couple of different areas, to kind of launch and anchor in this new moon, 13 moon cycle that has begun now. So the bottom line here for this new cycle is that you're creating sustainable habits and improving your daily experience. You're making your everyday things better, your mundane reality. And you're not just getting organized, you're refining this way of living that is going to support your health, your energy, and your long-term success. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, fellow Sagittarius friends, sun sign, moon, rising, any other Sag placement you're listening for, you/we, me along with you, we're going to have this brilliant new moon at almost 28 degrees of Aries, kickoff party to the astrological new year, occur in the 5th house. Very late degree friends will get an extra kiss as that placement trines your placement. So birthdays like December 17th through the 23rd, Sag degrees like 24 degrees through the 29th, you all will get an extra special kiss from this beautiful new moon, but don't worry, the rest of you aren't left out of it. Okay, let's do a dive into what the new moon in the 5th house brings to you at this time. The new 13-month or 13-moon cycle that is being initiated for you, the types of seeds that are being planted for you in your life, and where you can align your efforts to make the most of this beautiful moon. So, the new moon in the 5th house is a creative and expressive reset point. It is a fun moon. This is the house of fun and hobbies and talents and expression gifts that feel really good for you to do. It's a house of children and romance and true love. You may notice this heightened desire for more joy and fun and romance and self-expression and feel like you're ready to start to focus more in one or more of these areas of your life. You may feel this pull towards playfulness and following what feels good rather than the things you have to do, some things that you want to do. You may feel this increased inspiration and creative ideas that want to come through. This is a house of ultimate creativity, whether it's the creation of and tending to a human, a baby, in the process of child rearing and interacting with children, whether they're your own or not, working with kids, things like that, or a creative baby that you have the conception of in your mind, that you follow through with your actions and you create. So a lot of seeds being planted at this time for that area of your life. Very fertile ground. So there's this focus on these passion projects, matters of the heart, and this sense of wanting to create and share and enjoy life more. You may notice a desire to have more emotional openness in the arenas of love and attention and being seen. And this reawakening of your inner child, that one that may have been quieted for a long time out of necessity, out of the hardships of life, just something wanting to percolate there. And these are seeds being planted. Or, since we are completing the previous 13-moon cycle, there may be something coming to fruition recently that is now building into what this new chapter is going to be. Some really great gifts that come with this new moon can be that you get to reclaim joy and your authentic self-expression, or have some sort of remembrance or direction towards getting back there. You can definitely begin this new chapter in the creativity or romance or these passion projects, and it really centers around just saying yes to that spark inside and, doing some work, showing up really to develop it. This is a prime time for putting yourself out there in a heart-centered way. The fifth house rules the heart physically, but it also rules the heart energetically, and that's where you get your heart-lifting soul work from. So a lot of opportunities there. And there's a lot of magnetism as you follow what lights you up. This house is ruled by the sun, and I always say that whatever makes you feel like you're lifting strong and high like a sunflower towards the sky, just all of the cells in your body are just, wanting to express upward and outward, that those kind of things are the things that the fifth house rules. So planting seeds along the lines of the resonances here can carry a lot of power, and there are some affirmations that you can use with your seed planting that will align with the energies. And they would start something like this: I allow myself to fully enjoy. I express myself freely through ... I create from a place of, and then you fill in the blanks. And some ways to finish off those affirmation beginnings are starting or reviving a creative project, opening up to romance or deepening a romantic connection, letting yourself be seen and appreciated, stepping into the limelight, showing what you got, prioritizing this fun and play and pleasure, and connecting with children or your inner child, and building this confidence in your unique talents, but also investing in them. So if you're already good at something, you may be ready to share. If you are excited about something and you can be good at it, you may want to deepen your craft by practicing or taking educational courses on the topic of what you want to develop in yourself. This could actually be a time where you find some hidden talents that you didn't know that you have, and that you find them from an interest base. Like, I've always wanted to take belly dancing lessons, or I always wanted to do this, whatever it is. And then this may be a time that you actually schedule them or start something like that, where you get to explore something you've always wanted to do. And that always wanted to do can also take the form of the bucket list projects or trips or, things that you've always wanted. So you can take aligned actions like beginning a creative project, art, writing, music, content, athleticism, expression, music, anything like that. You can do something purely for the fun of it and make a little time for that without a productivity goal. You can go on a date or create a romantic experience with someone you're with, kind of take time to reinvest in that. You can share your talents or your work publicly, even if it's in a small way. You can also make your dress and your presentation of yourself match in the way that expresses how you want to have your energy move through you. It's a very creative process. And it's a time to follow spontaneous inspiration when it strikes, and you may find that it strikes at this time. Every sign, every placement, every house has a shadow side. And so there are things to be mindful of as we dive into this energetic. So some shadow things that can come up at this time are seeking validation instead of authentic expression, being too worried what people may think, and driving the creation around others' expectations rather than what's authentically true for you. This house is known to be very dramatic in its energy and rulership, so be mindful of this over-dramatization of emotions or, passion fires going too far for one way or another. Addictions, overdoing pleasures can definitely be a shadow side here. Forcing creativity instead of letting it flow, that can be a shadow side of asserting your will too much and breaking the flow of intuition and inspiration. There could be pride that comes up, arrogance or arguments, from the shadow side of this energy, or really avoiding vulnerability, in the places with love or with children, as a matter of pride or protection. And that idea of doing things, pleasures too much, like the overindulgence without any balance or without any mindfulness of the fact that certain things that you like to do may actually not be good for you, and there may be certain things that you have to stay away from. And this moon may give some insights into what those things are. So the bottom line for this new moon for you is that this is a powerful cycle for a 13 moon new beginning. Enjoy creativity, heart-centered living, passionate expression, igniting the flames of creation, authentic expression, and a version of you that attracts the perfect love and the perfect inspiration and the perfect expression. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. All right, Capricorn friends, this brilliant new moon kickoff to the new astrological year at almost 28 degrees of Aries is going to occur for Capricorn placements in the 4th house. Okay, let's take a deep dive into what a new moon in the 4th house looks like, the kind of things you can expect, how to align your actions and your energy, where to set those beautiful seed planting intentions that are so appropriate at the new moon, and how your next 13 moons, starting from this one, may be built upon from what happens now. So the new moon in the 4th house is an emotional reset point. It's also a reset point for your foundations. This is your ancestry, your childhood that you remember. This is your emotional world, your inner security, your inner world. You'll notice this heightened focus on home and family and your inner life, and this desire to pull inward, to become more reflective, private, aware of your sensitivities. This is a water moon, so you will notice your intuition rising, including activating your dreams, your subconscious mind, those nudges that you get. You may have a sudden or building awareness of your roots and the past and emotional patterns. And even though we're starting a new 13 moon cycle, there are things that could be happening around now that are the sort of end point of the last 13 moon cycle, and you're refreshing now with a new chapter. You might feel this really overwhelming desire to nest and to rest and to create safety and to be, really just aware of your environment and how it's affecting you and how you can feel better in your environment with some little changes or seed planting for some bigger changes. You might notice that some family matters or a living situation may come into focus, and you may get more clarity about what types of changes you want to have in those situations, which you can use the new moon to set your intentions to create that. you may notice that there's this sense that something really needs to shift at your core. It's an emotional shift. It's a way of feeling through life. And this intuition and your connection to your inner world may become really, really activated at this time. And you can start to plant those seeds for nurturing and nourishing that part of your being. There are many gifts that come from this placement, but one of the major ones is that you really get to rebuild this foundation from the inside out. You're starting something here. It's the birth of something. It could be something very big happening in home and family and housing at this time. And it could be something small, an inner shift, a way that you feel your way through life that becomes more fulfilling or more bearable for you. If you're a sensitive and you get overwhelmed easily, this could be a time where you start to shore up some of your borders, more or less, where you can have more fulfilling interactions without it negatively affecting you as much. You get to reset this emotional patterning that has been running for years. And if it seems too titanic to take on at once, you can build something small now or start getting support or help from people who know how to do this, professionals in this arena. This is definitely a prime time for creating this deeper sense of safety and belonging in your immediate environment and within yourself. As you become more stable in your inner world, it will definitely help your outer world to improve, because that way of feeling through things that happen in the outer world can be more stable and more set, and you can be more resilient. So some seeds that you can plant that work best at this time to align with these energies are this focus on this emotional security and these foundation-based intentions. So some beginnings to affirmations that would be really matching this fourth house are: I feel safe and supported when ... I create a home or environment around me that ... I honor my emotional needs by ... And you fill in those blanks. Some examples are going to center around creating this peace and harmony in your home, in your surroundings. Also around healing these family patterns or relationships that may have been present for, many generations before. Habits, addictions, ways of being, ways of interacting with family. You may notice that this topic of strengthening this emotional resilience can really, really be in the forefront. And resiliency is a very big topic for this, but it's resiliency from the inside. You also may be interested in moving or redecorating or improving your living space, and setting intentions that align with those goals can be very, very powerful. Other examples can center around prioritizing rest or time for reflection in between busy life, or nourishment emotionally and your inner care. Some aligned actions that you can take that really match with this fourth house energy have to do with cleaning and decluttering, energetically resetting your home environment, spending intentional time at home or creating comfort, even if it's a corner of your house, even if it's a chair, even if it's just something that gives you a little bit more emotional comfort and helps you to deal with everything else better. Actions, however small, can really have lasting results and can be building over this next 13-moon cycle. Things like having meaningful conversations with your family, chosen or blood, with yourself and your inner world through journaling or inner child reflection, looking at the ways that things in your life now make you feel like they did when you were younger, and seeing that those patterns have been cyclical, and taking some action into healing and redirecting those patterns. Things like cooking, nourishing meals, and creating grounding routines that can help you to recover from the emotional swirling that may come from interacting with other people. Also, things that could align with this energy have to do with rearranging your space and refreshing your space to reflect how you want to feel. If you look around at your stuff and see how it makes you feel, is that how you want to feel? And if not, consider doing a little bit of updating by looking at things that make you feel good or make you how you would want to feel. Every sign, every placement, every house has a shadow side, and this new moon time can bring up those shadows. And all of the things I may list might not happen for everyone, might not be relevant for you, but some things to be aware of and mindful of from the shadow perspective have to do with becoming overly withdrawn or isolating. Maybe if that is occurring for you in general, you could use your seed planting power to try to feel your way into more belonging. Other things to be mindful of from the shadow perspective have to do with getting stuck in these past stories or emotional loops, being reactive with family members, ignoring your need for rest and pushing on without taking time for emotional processing, feeling like you're emotionally processing, but you're not really being productive and not really getting anywhere and getting yourself stuck in the abyss, or seeking external validation instead of getting that inner grounding. This is a time when you really have an opportunity to reset the way that you deal with your emotional swirl and how productive it is for you and how fulfilling it is for you. I always like simple rituals at new moon time that can ground in the energy and use it actively. So writing down these intentions, saying them out loud, feeling them as if they've already come true. Write down these emotional patterns, the past influences that you're ready to release, and what home or safety or belonging really looks like for you now, which may be different than it did in the past. And taking one physical action within your home immediately, cleaning, moving stuff around, getting rid of the low-hanging fruit. So like things that are easy to throw out or easy to recycle or easy to just kind of, that don't have emotional content, just doing a little space clearing as part of this ritual can anchor in this energy. So the bottom line is this is a very powerful new 13 moon cycle for healing, for grounding, for starting on the path of creating true inner security. And it does have to do with home and housing, and this may show up for you very strongly in home and housing, but there is a deeper internal shift that's becoming the foundation for everything else that you can plant seeds for, or that may be automatically coming to you at this time. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com. Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. Okay, Aquarius friends, moon, sun, rising, any other Aquarius placement you're listening for, this brilliant new moon kickoff to the astrological new year, new moon in Aries at almost 28 degrees, is going to occur for you in the third house. And that makes a beautiful angle for Aquarius placements. So all Aquarius placements may get extra special blessings from this new moon. And those of you toward the end of the sign, so birthdays like February 17th through the 22nd or so, just the very end there, or 24 degrees through 29 degree Aquarius placements, you may get an extra special kiss from this new moon. All right, let's look at what goes on when the new moon lights up your third house. This is a new 13 moon mental and communication reset points. You may see things having culminated over the last 13 months that now have ended, and you're beginning a new 13 moon cycle. You may notice heightened activity in your mind, ideas, daily interactions, social interactions, communication with other people, writing and speaking and learning and teaching. You may feel this surge of curiosity and mental stimulation and interest in probing into research or study or editing. You may see an increase in conversations and messages and emails and connections, and that can be in-person communications as well. An awareness of your thought patterns and your inner dialogue may become more clear at this point, and you may feel this pull towards your local life, your community, your neighborhood, errands, your relatives that are not your parents or kids ruled in this house, but everybody else, aunts, uncles, cousins, siblings, and it does include neighbors and people that you see every day as well. You may get this sense like you need to say this or share this or learn this now. It's sort of a spiraling energy that's very diverse in interest. So you may notice that you want to get your fingers in a lot of pudding pies. I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And you may plant a lot of seeds at this time for things that you're interested in doing, things you're interested in learning. There are many, many, many opportunities here that also involve physicality, like your physical mobility, and that have to do with the things that you use for your mobility. So if you have some impairment to your mobility, you might get some new mechanism that can help you to be more mobile. If you had an injury, you could plant seeds at this time for getting your physical mobility back. This can also have to do with cars and bikes and boats and all kinds of, all manner of just moving around. It also relates to the devices and the things that we use to communicate, so phones and computers and tablets and things like that, from the perspective of communication. So lots of gifts come from this time. Some of the real strong gifts, one, is that you get to rewrite your mental patterns and your narratives. As I said before, if you're becoming aware of what goes on up in there, your mind, then you have a chance to set these intentions at this new moon and plant seeds towards moving into different patterns. If you find yourself spiraling out and getting stressed and being unproductive, you may start to be able to cast the burden. There's a really beautiful affirmation by Florence Scovel Shinn. She is a teacher of Jesus's work, Jesus as a metaphysician, but I think that her work is good for anybody of any faith, because she talks about casting the burden and going free. So whoever you pray to, if you cast the burden of those cycling thoughts and then onto the higher source, then you get to go free. And this is a time where you can start to get some freedom from that, from that monkey mind, if you set your intentions to move towards that. It could also facilitate fueling that mind, but you can take an active role in trying to shift it. This is a really fantastic time to begin a new chapter with communication or content creation or your education or your expressing your craft to other people. The spoken and written word are very powerful during this activation. This can definitely be prime time for learning something new and sharing your voice. And it can be a time when small shifts are creating this big ripple in everyday life. So you could make a small mental adjustment and then notice a very big difference. On the topic of seeds to plant and intentions that work best are ones that are aligned with this house. So things like focusing on your mindset and your communication and your connection-based experience with other people. Some affirmation beginnings could be, I think and speak in ways that I clearly and confidently express. I'm open to learning, ... And some examples of ways you can add to those beginnings of your affirmations are, improving communication skills. So I clearly and confidently express my communication in more fulfilling ways, or something like that. You may ask the questions, how can you be more heard? And how can other people really, take in what you're saying? And how can you hear other people better? And do work along those lines. This is a great time to plant seeds for those kind of improvements, as well as developing a new skill or an area of study and making progress on those word projects, strengthening the connections or planting the seeds for better relationships with those friends or those neighbors or those relatives, making your focus mentally be more positive and supporting thought patterns that are more positive, stepping away from naysaying or negativity in some way, and even just organizing yourself in better ways from the perspective of how you share and take in information. So some very aligned actions that you can take have to do with starting to write a journal, a writing project, doing something every day. Sometimes you can make a huge creation just by 10 minutes a day of writing. So you can make a small commitment like that now, or if you're ready to do something bigger, you can follow your flow. Another aligned action at this new moon could be to have that conversation that you've been putting off with one of your friends or relatives, or really whoever, and just showing up for communication that needs to happen. You could sign up for a class or begin learning something new through your research. You could reach out and connect with someone or go visit a neighbor or friend. You could practice speaking your truth in small ways or consistent ways. Remember that this is a building process, and seeds that you plant now may have a robust outcome in the next short-term moon cycle, like 28 days. But some of these things that you're planting seeds for now can really be developing over the next 13 moons. And it's very exciting to know that you are engaging in this building process. You might make some decisions around limiting your mental clutter or your news or your social media or your, overthinking, as we talked about, and taking some steps towards just clearing out your space a little bit to see what kind of inspiration and insights might come through if it's not so crowded all the time. Every sign, every placement, every house has its side where it shines and has its shadow side. So some things to be mindful of at this point that could be the shadow side of this house are scattered thinking or trying to do too many things at once. I talked to you before about the fact that you may get your fingers in a lot of pudding pies and you may have some diverse interests at this time. And that's very, very, very suitable for this energy. But if it becomes debilitating or you're not being able to give any steam to any of your individual pursuits because you have too many of them, just be aware that it can manifest that way. Definitely the overthinking and anxiety loops, definitely miscommunications or, speaking without clarity, or speaking too fast before you really know what's being said. Could be mindful of taking in that information without being able to integrate it. Maybe scheduling some pauses in between to integrate the information, or rests or little device clearouts or communication clearouts even throughout the day where you just sort of step away from it. That could be a good third moon intention or practice. And some other things in the shadow side are to be aware of gossip or unproductive conversations that are not really fueling anything positive or productive for you or for other people. It's sometimes easier to fall into that shadow loop at this time, and you can use your intentions to shift that. I always like doing simple rituals at the moon times, even if it's something like saying out loud, writing down, and feeling as if the intentions that you're setting have already come true. This is a way we let our reticular activating system know that we're trying to filter in things that will help us to get to these goals. And you can take one small step after your intention setting process, like a small communication or a small learning action, or getting going on some sort of communication, transportation, mobility, connection-based project that just sort of anchors in your readiness to move forward in this arena. So overall, this is a very, very powerful cycle for rewiring your mind and your mindset and amplifying your voice. where this new way of thinking and new way of speaking can reshape your reality. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice. All right, Pisces placements, sun, moon, rising, any other Pisces placement you're listening for. This new moon kickoff party for the astrological new year at almost 28 degrees of Aries is going to be in your second house. Okay, let's look at what it will look like and how you can best use a brilliant new moon in your second house. A second house new moon is a financial and energetic reset point that gives you a new beginning in a 13 moon cycle for how you relate to your material reality. This may include a heightened awareness of money or resources, stability, and security. You may notice an intense focus on self-worth, confidence, especially financial confidence, what you truly value, and your financial literacy. You're going to be feeling this pull towards security building and simplification. You may notice an increased awareness or sensitivity that comes around income, spending, and your personal value of your time and your services. You may feel this very strong desire to ground yourself in something tangible and reliable and predictable. You may have an immediate awareness or a deepening of one that's already been building about how you may be undervaluing yourself or your work. And there may be this quiet but very powerful urge to build something lasting. If you're a maker, this is definitely a maker moon, doing things with your hands of any kind of building or crafting or creating. This is a beautiful time to initiate a project of creation or to try new things with your, making with your hands. And it's a big opportunity and lots of gifts where you can do this reset of your relationship with how you create in the physical plane. This can have to do with your relationship with the environment. This can have to do with planting a garden or becoming more sustainable from the environmental perspective. And this can be at the other end of the spectrum where there's financial or item-based purchases, like something important in the material world that you're trying to increase your material experience. So some sort of upgrade or a lateral movement in that material world. This can definitely be a new chapter of earning or saving or valuing your skills differently, and even taking small steps towards those ends can be very, very powerful now and can grow over the next 13 moons. This is also a prime time for aligning how you spend money with your values, because sometimes over time we realize that we're either making money or spending money in a way that isn't in congruence with what our values are. And this is a moon to reflect on those type of things and to start to move the dial into the direction where it matches more. This can be a time where you shift from survival mode into this steady, self-generated security, or where you build your experience of money as energy and understand that energy is flowing from the divine and that it's not really coming from the places you think that it is. An employer, a spouse, family, your money is energy and it comes from the divine and from the universe. So you can start to tune in to how you can bypass some of the ways you think it has to come in and sort of go down that rabbit hole of investigating how to create materially a little bit outside of the box. Moons are an amazing time for setting intentions. And you may want to start some of those intentions with things like, I am worthy of, I confidently receive, I create stability through, I now create. And then the types of things that have the strongest energetic alignment with this house, you would fill in, I am worthy of increasing my income or opening new revenue streams, things like that. I confidently receive charging appropriately for my work, or I create stability through consistency in finances. I attract support and stable opportunities. I develop skills that increase my value as a worker or a sharer of services. So those kind of things are along the lines of where you align the new moon energy that gets a little more boost when you focus on those kind of things that this second house rules. Some aligned actions that you can take at this new moon and also take into consideration the bigger picture. If you haven't watched my horoscopes for the month, I always deep dive into the energetics, whether the tides are coming in or tides are coming out. You know, it's good to understand the energetics of the month through my monthly reports, and then kind of see which of these type of things would be aligned. But I just want to give you some examples of things that could happen during the new moon, either automatically or that you actively use it for. Things like setting or revising prices, your rates or your financial boundaries. Things like starting a savings or budgeting plan. Simplicity here is key. This isn't an overcomplicated type of energy. It's kind of getting back to the basics. This is a great time for alignment for investing in something that may build this long-term value. It could be a good time to declutter your possessions and keep the things that truly feel aligned. You could also take steps towards monetizing a skill or talent. Although we are being taken over by AI and everything has changed now, I do believe there will always be a value for things that are human-made. And you can figure out the way that you can monetize the skills or talents that you have, as many people will be doubling down on human-created things. And this also has to do with supportive foods, the things that you take into your body, the nutrition. So aligned actions here would look like nourishing your body with things that ground and things that give your body stability and keep like your blood sugar level and keep your nervous system balanced. This is a really good time for balancing intake. Every placement has its shadow side, so there are going to be some things to be mindful of as we have this strong energy coalescing in this second house for you. Things like making fear-based money decisions or not addressing the underlying fear in your financial consciousness. This could be a good time to do a deep dive into that type of focus. Definitely be mindful of overspending to soothe emotions or overeating to soothe emotions, or hoarding or gathering things and keeping them out of fear. Also be mindful of the undervaluing of yourself or accepting less that you deserve. And you can see this value system is a very big thing that this second house moon really brings up. you have this opportunity to catch yourself when you get stuck in scarcity thinking instead of steady building and positive focus. And this also could be a good time to stop comparing your financial path to others. We are each here to experience different things and play different games in the game of life, and maybe clearing out some judgment about where you're at with it, can be a suitable way to use this energy so that you can take the opportunities that are being created around you rather than doing too much comparing. If there's some comparing that gives you inspiration to do something different and you want to use that to set your intentions, then that's one thing. But if it becomes dysfunctional, this moon may help you become aware of that. So a beautiful ritual at this new moon would involve saying things aloud, writing these intentions down, saying them out loud. Figure out what you're ready to release around this lack or this undervaluing of yourself. Or ask the questions about waste or scarcity, excess or not enough, and what you can do to shift and balance that out. And ask the question, what stability and abundance looks like for you now. Abundance is a very general word that can be very different for each person. So evaluating what that means for you right now. And you can take one practical money action immediately after doing your intentions, even if it's something small, even if it's putting $10 in savings. Just the seed planting of taking an action can multiply over the next 13 moons. So the bottom line is that this period of time is a very powerful new beginning to a 13 moon cycle, also the ending to the previous 13 moon cycle where you may see some things manifest from the last 13 moons. And now you're beginning to build in this next cycle. And you're building this real world stability, self-worth, and your inner security that can manifest to your outer security. It can have to do with money, but it's more than that. It's a deeper sense of this value that naturally attracts and sustains it. If you want to understand more about the energetics of this month, what to watch out for, what to capitalize on from this beautiful open window we have going on at this time, you can find my April reports, individual videos for each sign on my YouTube channel, or the syndicated podcasts on my Astro Kisses Buzzsprout podcast site, which also syncs over to Spotify and other podcast venues. Also in another browser right now, go to anniehelpsyou.com and click on Unleash to get your free April star report. Also, you can get the free May star report early so that you understand what's going on then with the best dates of the month, the worst dates of the month, and how to handle all of that. If you want to understand what is going on in your chart from the outer planet perspective, you can get my personalized video reports at anniebclarity.com, Annie, the letter B, clarity.com. And if you want to learn astrology with me, by a human, content all made by me, and interaction with humans online in the forum where you can ask questions and get $2,500 in free promos when you register now, go to beastropro.com, beastropro.com to see my astrology mastery certification course. I can help you learn how to become a professional astrologer and earn money from your love of the stars, or if you just want to do a deep dive study for yourself, your family, and friends, the course is also perfect for that. It's systematic and it can help take you to where you want to go with your astrology practice.